Hey guys, so today we're working on topic 3-7. So the last few lessons, we've been working a lot with multiplying whole numbers, focus on area models and the standard algorithm. Here is our learning target for today. I can solve problems with 3 by 2 digit numbers multiplication. So basically what we've been working on. So make sure you're ready to go. Of course, you should have your headphones on. You should already have a pencil ready and your notebook so you can follow along with what's going on. So before I pull up the problems, what I want to do is so while we're solving these problems together, we'll talk about coming up with an estimation today. Then you will pause and attempt to solve the problem on your own. And then say you decided you use a standard algorithm to solve the problem. That's great. But when you're following along with me today, if you did a standard algorithm, just check your work. Then when you get to the area model, I want you to copy the area model down in your notebook as well. And then vice versa. So if you do the area model to solve your problem, I want you to copy the standard algorithm into your notebook. So you have both ways to solve. So I'm going to show you real quick how I want you to set up your page in your notebook. So take a look at my whiteboard. You should, in the middle of the page, make a chart, make a T-chart, starting at the very top of your page, okay? On one side, I want you to write area model. Hopefully you guys can see that with the lighting. And on the other side, I want you to write standard. Just gonna put standard, okay? All right. So let's look at our first problem together. And it says Nationwide Elementary is buying computers for their school. Each classroom is getting 22 computers and there are 45 classrooms. How many computers do they need to buy? All right. So first thing we do is identify the operation. So I think to myself, okay, each classroom is getting 22 computers. I'm imagining 22 classrooms just laying around, like just 22 rooms. Then in each side, each one is going to have 45 computers. So I'm thinking, okay, this classroom has 45. The next one has 45. The next one has 45. The next one has 45. And I keep, if the number is being repeated 22 times, that means my operation is multiplication. Okay, so 45 times 22 is the number sentence that I'm working with. Now I'm thinking about an estimation. So the estimation, the goal is just to keep it close. So I just round both numbers to the nearest tens place. Okay, 45 rounds to 50, 22 rounds to 20. Okay, so 50 times 20 is 1,000. That is my estimation. Okay, so now what I want you to do, either using the standard algorithm or an area model, I want you to take a moment and solve the problem. While you are solving the problem, pause the video. Once you finish solving, you may press play. All right, guys, I have returned. Hopefully you finished solving this problem. So now I'm going to model for you both ways to solve it. So I'm going to write down real quick. 45 times 22. Okay. All right. Let me pull this up. All right. So the first way I'm going to show you is with an area model. Okay, that's the strategy you guys used last year. So I know it's a 2-digit by 2-digit number. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my box. And I'm gonna make it 2 digits, 2 by 2. So, and then of course I write both of my numbers in standard form. Now, this next part that I'm getting ready to do is optional. If you are doing well with an area model, go ahead and don't worry about this next part. But of course, if you're, some of you definitely probably need to do this just to make sure you're staying on the right track. So I write down inside each box what I am going to multiply to solve it. Okay, so I have 40 times 20, 20 times 5, 40 times 2, 2 times 5. All right. So now I'm going to go through and solve each one. I know that, and I use my knowledge of my math facts and my place value to help me solve it. My power is a 10. So I know that 4 times 2 is 8. 2 zeros makes it 800. 20 times 5, I know 2 times 5 is 10. Add a 0 makes it 100. Now make sure 2 times 5 is 10. It's a common thing I see. 2 times 5 is 10. You'll think, oh, there's a 0 there. I don't need to add one. No. 2 times 5 is 10. 20 times 5 is 100. So think $20 bills gives you $100. So then 40 times 2, that would be 80 because 4 times 2 is 8 and a 0. And then 2 times 5 is 10. All right. All right, now I'm ready. So now I take my partial products, I write them off to the side. And I like to write them from greatest to least when adding them. It just makes it easier. Remember, you can add all 4 of these numbers at once. Of course, I got a string of zeros. That's going to give me 0, my ones place. 8, so I have 0, 0, cancel each other out. 8 and 1 is 9. 8 and 1 again is 9. So my answer is 990. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other side and do standard algorithm. Now remember, if you did an area model, I do expect for you to copy down the standard algorithm over here. If you did standard algorithm, make sure you write down the area model in your notebook. So I'm switching to this side. With standard algorithm, step 1 is always write one number on top of the other. You're going to stack them like you do a standard algorithm in addition and subtraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is focus on my ones place. I'm going to multiply 45 times 1. So I know 5 times 2 is 10. And I'm going to take and put a plus 1 up here. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Now, one thing I like to do whenever I have to carry with multiplication, once I finish with this particular place, like I just finished with my ones place, I'm going to cross that 1 out because I've already used it and I don't want to come back and use it again. So now I'm going to switch and I'm going to do 45 times 20. Okay, now this 2 is in the tens place, meaning it's 20. So since I'm doing 45 times 20, I'm going to put a 0 here to start to signify that I've now moved to my tens place in my bottom number. Then I do 5 times 2 again. I know that's 10. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1. Notice I multiply, then add. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1, and that gives me 900. I'm just going to add those 2 numbers up quickly. And oh goodness, I got the same exact thing as I got for my area model. Okay, so make sure if you need to pause for a second to copy these down, go ahead and pause and copy both of these down. If you're ready to go because you followed along, go ahead and let's get ready to do the next problem together. Okay, so of course my answer should display 990. Now let's look at the next problem together. The toy car factory makes 234 toy cars per hour. how many will they have made in 54 hours? Okay, so again, I'm identifying my operation. I'm imagining 234 cars. It's been an hour. That's how many cars are laid out in the factory. But then I asked myself, wait a minute, they're doing this for 54 hours. So they're repeating the same number over and over again 54 times. 234 times 54. My estimate, of course, I round both of my numbers to the nearest tens place. 200 times 50, that is 10,000. So I should be looking for something around 10,000. Okay, so remember with estimates, it's not the exact answer, but just kind of get our brains kind of prepared for what we're going to experience. So now what I want you to do, go ahead and take a moment and solve these solve this problem, either using standard algorithm or area model. When you finish, go ahead and resume the video. So pause to solve, push play to check your answers. All right, hopefully you have finished solving both of these problems. Let me write down the problem we're doing real quick. 234 times 54. All right, let me unshare the screen so you guys can see this, my whiteboard blown up. So I have 234 times 54. Okay, so since it's a 3 by 2 digit number, I'm going to go ahead and make my box 3 by 2. Okay. And remember, you're writing both factors in expanded form. Okay, that's very important. So now I have my numbers all prepared, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and write down what I am multiplying inside each box just to help me reference later. Okay, so notice I've got my numbers written down to show what I'm multiplying in this problem. So I know I have, for my first one, I have 200 times 50. I know 2 times 5 is 10. 1, 2, 3 zeros, 10,000. 50 times 30. I know 5 times 3 is 15. 2 zeros, 1,500. 50 times 4. I know 5 times 4 is 20. But don't just stop because I got the 0 down. That's just for 5 times 4. I have to make it 200. So now I have 200 times 4. That is 800. 30 times 4 is 120. 4 times 4 is 16. Now, one thing I like to do, since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers to add with this standard algorithm, I like to just go ahead. I like to add my first two, all my vertical my columns first. So, and then combine the 3 numbers just to kind of condense it. So I have 10,000 plus 800. That's 10,800. 1,500 plus 120. 120 is 1,720. 200 plus 16 is 216. So then I take these 3. I'm going to write them down vertically. Don't attempt to add these horizontally. It makes you prone to mistakes. And we want to try to avoid simple mistakes because that's the difference between getting it right and getting it wrong a lot of times. All right. So I have my addition problem set up. Let me move my camera down a bit so you can see it. So of course, 1, 2 zeros, that's 6 plus 6 is 6. 0, then 2 and 1 is 3. What I like to do when I'm adding a string of numbers together is look for combinations of 10. I see that 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 7 is 17. And I look for those combinations of 10 because it's easy to combine. Like 10 plus 7 is easy to do compared to 15 plus 2. Now you can do it, but I think 10 plus 7 is significantly easier. All right, so then I carry my 1, I have 2, bring down the 1. So I have 12,736. All right, let me check my answer using the standard algorithm. So I'm going to switch to the algorithm now. And let's see, 234 times 54. Remember, you write your numbers down vertically. Now, the big difference to me between standard algorithm, I think we've mentioned this before, between area model and standard algorithm is just efficiency. This takes up a lot less room on paper. It's a little less writing involved. You can get this done a little bit quicker, okay? But like I said, if you're still confused with this, but you can do this, stick with this. All right, let's multiply. So we're doing our ones place first. So 4 is in our ones place. So 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. Ooh, okay. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. Carry the 1 again. 2 times 4 is 900. And it was 800 plus 1 is 936. All right. So now I'm doing 234 times 50. Now, I always like to cross those bad boys out because I don't want to get mixed up. Now, remember, I'm doing it times 50. So that means right here, I've got to add a 0. Now, this is not a ghost 0 like in when we did decimals, because with decimals, we just put that 0 there to make an equivalent decimal. This is actually 234 times 50. This 0 will go in the ones place every time. All right, so now 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. Remember, I'm regrouping. That's why I'm taking that 1 and taking it to the top. 2 times 5 is 10. And that makes 11. Now let's see how I did today. A little nervous. Okay. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus 7 is 15. 16. 16. Okay. Carry the 1. 2. Okay, so right now I have 2 different answers. I planned this on purpose, by the way. So this is what I need to do. I need to go and look for my mistake, okay? So either here or here, there is a mistake. First thing I'm going to do is check my standard algorithm. Let's check my area model. 10,000, 1,500, 200. Okay, that's correct. Let's look at my second row. And I notice if I add these 3 together, it equals 11,700. So top row is good. Bottom row, 800. Okay. 120, 16. Okay. So 936. So let's check my addition. I think I see my mistake right here. This should have been a 6. And a 6. So 12,636. So that is my actual answer. So I literally did that just to give you show you an example of why sometimes it is helpful. So say this was a multiple choice question. And I went back and did it. And I did it this way and realized this was wrong. So that maybe is a good time to break out the standard algorithm and try it, or vice versa. Say you did standard algorithm, can't find your answer on your choices, go back and do it a second way. Sometimes it's also handy to do a second way when you have those open-ended gridded response questions. So that way, that's how I caught my error in this question. So always be willing to double check your work and make sure you're on the right track and catch those mistakes. And if you caught the mistake earlier, great job. All right, so now let's look at our next problem together. This is going to be our last one. Make sure that's right. Yep, 1,206. All right, here's the next one. Okay. So same process as before. I want you to solve it from start to finish. Miss Pendleton gave each of her students in her class 65 pencils for the school year. She has 45 students. How many pencils does she need to buy? Okay, so each kid gets 42, multiplication. There's our estimate right there. That's what we're looking for. Go ahead and pause the video and solve now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. All right, so let's take a look at this one. I forgot to look to see what the problem was. 65 times 42. 65 times 46. So I'm doing 65 times 42. Okay, gonna start off. Actually, this time I'm gonna start off with standard algorithm, just to give my standard algorithm people a nice moment to have theirs done first, okay? So I know that 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13, all right? That first row is pretty easy. Second row. Now remember, we're doing 65 times 40. So I'm gonna put that there, that 0. That's not a ghost 0, that's a real 0. So then 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. All right, add them up. Okay, 2,730 is what I came up with. All right, so now I'm going to do my area model. Now this time I'm not going to write down what I'm doing inside each box for the sake of time. So then 60 plus 5, 40 plus 2. I know 4 times 6 is 24, 2 zeros. 4 times 5 is 20, extra zeros, 200. Add these two together and you get 2,600. Look at the connection right there. Same thing. I'm just doing the same thing, just breaking it up a little differently. Now, next one, 2 times 60 is 120. 2 times 5 is 10. Add those together, I get 130. Same thing as over here. So then I add it up, 3, 7. Oh, look, 2,730. All right. So that is all of the problems we're going to do together today. Now I want you're going to go watch the next video, which is the visual learning video that I want you guys to watch. Then after the visual learning video, then you're going to do your independent practice on the next screen. So you'll have 10 questions. Most of those are probably multiplication, but I did throw in some review problems. All right. Good luck. Take your time. Show your work. You should do well. I will see you later.